With that being said, as always, let's jump into our lead story of the day, and that is about a rally for a Minnesota man killed by police took a dramatic turn on Saturday when the mom he had shot at just hours before he was fatally shot, well, she crashed the protest to call Andrew Sundberg a bad guy. And I mean, we've been waiting for something like this to happen where the BLM movement basically eat themselves, because anytime a black guy is shot by the police or killed at by the police, it's just automatically unjustified. Where's the body cam footage? Where's this? Where's that? All the questions are asked towards the police chief, the sergeant, the officers involved. Everybody's asked those questions, but nobody talks about the actual person that shot at the police officers or shot at somebody else. Very similar to what happened here. Nobody's talking about Andrew Sundberg as being a bad guy that shot at this mom and her children. So BLM's just going to go out and start doing all these things. This is so reminiscent on the Jayland Walker shooting. Yes, he was shot 60 times by police, and you might be going, well, that sounds crazy. Let me explain for a moment. Jayland Walker evaded police the day before. Then they try to do another routine traffic stop on him, of which he led them on a pursuit, shot at them during the pursuit. It's on the POCAM, meaning you can actually see the muzzle flash being shot at the cops. You can hear it and see it on the body cam from the officer's, chest as he's going on the pursuit. And he also calls it in. Furthermore, he gets out of the car on the passenger side while it's still rolling with a ski mask on, runs away from the police as they're chasing him. They try to taser him. Multiple times he turns around and tries to grab something in his waistband. The final time he really draws, looks like he's going to pull something out, and that's when they shot him. Now, 60 times, there was a lot of police officers there, and you don't know what's going to land when your adrenaline's going. So yeah, he got pumped full of lead. Probably shouldn't have done what he did, but in my mind, a good shoot. Now, Andrew Sundberg, again, for what he did, probably was a good shoot as well. We don't have all the information out to say that it was or wasn't, but the scene that took place on Saturday was dramatic and it was caught on video. Let's go ahead and see a little bit of that.
Respect life, demand justice, and we're demanding the release of the body cam footage. Yes, ma'am.
As you can see, the woman was very emotional, and rightfully so. She was shot at, and she explained that she had been cooking dinner for her children when bullets came through her apartment door, adding that there were shell casings all over the hallway outside after the incident. Sundberg was killed early Thursday after a standoff that began late Wednesday. He allegedly shot into the apartment where that woman lived with her 2 children, then fired again at cops who rushed the family to safety. But you're going to get Black Lives Matter coming out doing this whole movement, this whole rally thing on behalf of Sundberg. But where are they for her? Where are they for her children? Nowhere to be found. Of course, nowhere to be found. Well, Sutherland's father, Mike, had tried to help negotiate the surrender of his son, who was barricaded in his apartment, But the 6-hour standoff ended at 4:30 a.m. when 2 police snipers on a rooftop across the street fatally shot him. On Saturday, the elder Sundberg, who was at the protest, was seen trying to comfort the woman as she railed against the demonstrators. But, he did nothing wrong, folks. He's in the clear. No big deal here on what his son had done. Black Lives Matter doesn't want to talk about that. It's all the police's fault because they need to push a narrative to not only defund the police, but police brutality and all these other things. Well, Sundberg's mother, Cindy Sundberg, said her son, who they adopted from Ethiopia, was experiencing a mental health crisis. You think? You think? When police responded to a report of shots fired in his apartment building, according to video released by family attorney Ben Crump on Twitter. The Minneapolis Police Department reported that a mother with 2 young children called claiming that someone had shot into her apartment and that officers witnessed additional shots when they arrived on the 3rd floor of the building. But, didn't deserve to die. Should have just been taken in, clean hands, no firearm. Those police don't deserve to go home and see their family. Nothing of the sort. That woman doesn't deserve to see her kids and her children grow up. It's just a bad shoot regardless. We can't ask questions about it because if you do, you're a racist. That's the thing. Automatically, especially if you're a white person watching this and you ask any sort of questions and you go against the narrative in any way, you're racist. Careful. That's how it works, folks. That's how it works. You can't ask questions. So the shooting of Sundberg, a black man, has further inflamed race relations in Minneapolis, where 2 years ago, George Floyd was killed by a police officer in an incident that touched off a summer of rioting around the nation. Don't you love that? I love how they put the rioting in there. And that is important because we literally spent 4 years watching Black Lives Matter movement, the progressive left and Democrat Party burn our cities down to the ground, but they're going to push this whole January 6th hubbub that didn't do anywhere near the damage that these protests did, like billions of dollars in damages. January 6th was nowhere near that. I'm not advocating for what happened to January 6th. Matter of fact, I don't know a single Republican or conservative that was for it. We all think they're idiots who stormed it, but you have Black Lives Matter still pushing this type of stuff. The Sundbergs told reporters they don't believe police would have shot one of their white biological children in the same situation. There you go. It happens at some point, right, folks? It happens at some point. Everyone knows, this is a quote, everyone knows had it been a white person in that building, they would have taken him out. They would have waited. Cindy Sundberg, who has 9 children total with her husband. I would like to point out, Cindy, that there is actual body cam footage of police killing unarmed white men too. It's not just you guys, okay? It does happen. Believe it or not. I know there's this alternate universe that you guys aren't unaware of that happens, but white people do get shot. Unarmed white people do get killed by the police. It does happen. I know that we're going against the narrative, but it's okay. Your son did something terrible. He shot at a woman who was cooking her dinner with 2 children in there. Furthermore, he shot at the police officers. Furthermore, he did a standoff. All these things, but you're not going to talk. You're just going to talk about your son being emotionally ill. You're not going to talk about any of the other things. I haven't found if there's a rap sheet on this guy yet, but you'd be surprised because Jalen Walker guy really only had a traffic ticket and he did all those things. Now, I don't know if there was any other priors that maybe we're unaware of, but a lot of times when the parents come out and they push this whole race thing and working with the Black Lives Matter movement, then you get Al Sharpton showing up and Reverend Jesse Jackson and this whole thing, this whole hubbub. Then you find out the guy had a massive rap sheet. They're going through his 2nd grade pictures to post that online when he's 26 years old. All these things, they want to post, a nice photo of the person because we can't push a narrative that this guy clearly made multiple bad decisions, a series of bad decisions in his life. I would like to point out that he made a series of bad decisions here by shooting into somebody else's apartment and doing all these things. So I love that this mom had the tenacity to go out there and crash this protest, and we all get to see it. We all get to see the phonies that the Black Lives Matter movement is. They don't care. They don't care about Black lives. They don't even care about the Black community. Folks, you can tell automatically. I mean, look at the landscaping. You would think that if they were really in for the Black community to help them, could we do a little bit of landscaping, get a little weed whacker and edger out there a little bit to help make things and spruce things up a bit? I mean, that's the very least you can do. Literally the very least. If you're not going to help the actual people that live within that community, maybe you can help the community itself out by doing a little bit of landscaping with those millions of dollars you have. But no, you want to go build these $6 million mansions. I shouldn't even say build. They want to buy these $6 million mansions that are owned by Marxists that crap on white people, but live in a white neighborhood. If that makes sense to you, let me know because it doesn't make sense to me. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.